This is the Felis catus, also known as the common house cat or domestic cat, the taxonomic classification for the common house cat. Its domain is in the Eukarya, its kingdom is the Animalia, the phylum is the Chordate, class is Mammalia, order is Carnivora, and the family it resides in is the Felidae, or the cat family. The genus is the Felis. The species, as said before, is the Felis catus, its Latin name. The habitat of the common house cat is in a house with humans. The habitat depends on the geographical setting where the human lives, since houses change based on geography and climate. They are generally located wherever humans live, and the diet of a house cat depends on the geography and type of cat. If the cat is an indoor cat, then their owner will feed them, and their diet will consist of foods that are high in protein and high in fat. If the cat is an outdoor cat, then they will also be fed by their owner, but they will also catch small wild animals such as mice and birds on top of that diet that they are already being fed. The common house cat is originally from ancient Mesopotamia and spread from there to the rest of the world, which I will get into later. So now I'm going to get into the evolution of the common house cat or domestic cat. The adaptation and variation of the common house cat has been very interesting over many generations. So through genetic analysis of cats that reside all over the world, scientists have found out that DNA is almost identical to that of the African wildcat. The African wildcat is alive today and lives on the African savanna, and it is a nocturnal hunter. The Felidae family, or the cat family, varies in size, shape, color, and styles, fur styles, but what remains consistent between all of them is their body shape, with 4 legs, a tail, and their ears poking out the top of their head. The general way that the house cat has adapted is to become more calm, and it is able to interact with humans and their masters. So now I'm going to get into biogeography of the common house cat. The house cat has evolved in over many generations to become what it is today. And the biogeography of the common house cat is dependent on human life. The house cat lives wherever there is nutrition, which is generally dependent on the human and their master who takes care of them. The common house cat has one prominent vestigial structure, and it is located on the cat's eye. There's a semi-transparent fold of skin, which is referred to as the necessitating membrane, for which birds and reptiles use to protect their eye from injury. It also acts as a type of sunglasses, not so much your Ray-Bans, but just a natural part of the cat that is used as sunglasses to protect it and regulate the amount of sun intake. This is much more developed in nocturnal reptiles and birds. The cat, however, has become less nocturnal through the generations because humans are not nocturnal, and the cats rely on humans to take care of them, and they follow the humans' routines. Since there is no longer a need for this, the structure has grown. It is now completely useless. The necessitating membrane has no use, and they have no control over it. The common house cat has gone through both artificial and natural selection over many generations, so that it looks like it does today. There are 2 ideas about the common house cat. The first is that the original wildcats were selected, and humans picked certain ones for their calmness and friendliness towards humans. The second is rather than being artificially selected by humans, the wildcats gradually changed their ways and started to be less like their wild relatives. They adapted to live and interacting with humans because of the fact that they needed the rodents that live by and in the villages to survive. It is more likely that the second idea because of the fact that the cats were basically useless to humans, except for the fact that they can eat the rodents that live in the village, which would help the villagers because they don't need to worry about the rodents eating their food. But there were other animals that the people of the time would rather have domesticated, such as ferrets and dogs, because they would have had a much greater use to the people of the time. The artificial selection is very prominent today with the domestic cat because people are trying to get the desirable traits such as fur pattern and size. An example of this would be the Bengal cat, which looks somewhat like a cheetah that has just been shrunk down to the normal size of a house cat. Fossil records show interesting thing about the cat and their existence with humans. Fossil records show coexistence with humans and cats, and these records date back to early human settlements. But paleontologists assume that they are just wild jungle cats who lived somewhat in the same area as the cats and might have died there or just been placed there near a human gravesite. The skulls of the cats found in Egypt's ancient burial ground date back to about 3,600 years ago, and they were thought to be the original domesticated cats. The earliest fossil evidence that we have to prove proves the earliest domestication was from around 9,500 years ago in an ancient burial ground located in Cyprus. This cat is known for sure to be the earliest domestication because of the fact that it is buried with a human. Deliberately buried with a human. It does not just happens to be there, it is placed and it is very obvious that it was meant to be there. But paleontologists and biologists still believe that the cats would have been domesticated sometime before this because of the fact that cats are not native to Cyprus, so they would have had to be brought there, which would have meant they would have had to be domesticated before that. Cats have evolved in many ways to become the domestic house cat that it is today. The concepts biogeography, vestigial structures, adaptation and variation, artificial selection and natural selection, fossil records show us how the organism adapted into what it is today. The cat, as you see, is that of a species that has adapted and evolved over thousands of generations to be the cat that you could possibly own even today. Even though it has evolved in many different ways over many generations, it has not lost its ability and wildness of its ancestors.